So, a quick exercise. I want you to try to pay attention to your intention. Okay, that can be a little bit complicated, so let's make it very, very, very simple. Paying attention to where your mind drifts and wanders. So, a little bit different than meditation. Really, really paying attention to your attention. We don't recognize that our attention span, like our attention goes in so many places. We think we're present, like somebody's talking to us, and we think we're paying attention to something, but meanwhile, like there's a thought of, oh my god, did I leave the stove on, right? Like you can be having like there could be so many things that are happening in our brain to not give attention to something in front of us. And that's actually why we have such a hard time really nowadays in society. We think, multitasking is such a great thing. And there's times where it can be, but it also has become quite a dangerous thing because we're not really focused on stuff. So when we get into mindset training and mindset transformation, we want to be so aware of our thoughts and where our minds go so that we can actually learn to train our brain. Starting with sounds. Let's go something so basic. So as I'm sitting here, right, and talking to you, where's my attention going? Truthfully, when I'm talking, there's a couple different things, right? I can see myself in the video, so that's one thing, and then I'm aware. Okay, well, I know I have a couple bad habits. I have a tendency to play with my hair. I get a bit moving around a lot, but and I talk a lot with my hands, so sometimes that can be my own distraction. Okay, now I'm paying attention to that. The sounds. Let's go more specific. That I tune out. I have two dogs, right? You can't see on the screen, but I have two dogs that are, when I'm in my office and my studios and different things, are around with me. So, people would say, well, get rid of the dogs, right? But I'm like, well, I've been down that road and it just is easier to leave them in. So I've learned how to work through those distractions. So I don't actually pay attention to the sounds as much anymore with the breathing and the snoring. If they were to start licking and start, making noises and playing with their toys, well, now all of a sudden the distraction is more elevated. Well, that would stop me from doing what I'm doing. So when you sit in your seat and you're watching this, you're going to pay attention once this video stops. I want you to sit with yourself for a minute or so and just pay attention to what you're paying attention to. What is the surroundings? What are the things that are grabbing your attention? What are the sounds you hear? Why did that pull your attention away? Where did your mind go? Because as we get into more depth with mindset training, then you're going to learn how to be able to actually pay attention to distractions, or close off distractions so you can be more focused on things to make them more of a priority. But that's actually becomes a learned skill. Sometimes the biggest distractions around, right, is what we have to work with, and then we evolve, and are blessed to be in different situations. So for example, different types of a studio. There was a story I remember Tony Robbins talking about once, and he was trying to teach people or something, or he was somewhere, or it could have been his story about somebody else, or his life in particular, but educating people, in a house, and then a train kept going by, right? So talk about a distraction. So you're trying to get these people's attention and focus. So imagine that, right? A scenario, and you're talking to a group of people, and and everybody's so into it, and then all of a sudden this massive train is going by making all these noises, right? Because you can't, that's the circumstance. That's the house. This is where we're at. This is what we're doing. We don't have the luxury. We don't have the luxury right now of being able to go to a quiet retreat where we get to be just focused, right? And sit around, campfire, kumbaya, or whatever these, a retreat or whatever for mindfulness. We don't have that luxury. So we have to work with what we got. We have to work with what we got. So many people use excuses, right? Because, oh, well, I got all this other things going on. Well, that train, I can't do it. No, the train's part of your challenge. Now that's part of your challenge. How can you evolve past that? Train bothers you that much. Okay, what are you going to do about it in your mindset training to move into a different house? Right? That's kind of where we're going with this. So we're so aware of our thoughts and our surroundings, and that brings us into presence. And generally, the triggers around us are there for a reason, to do something to our brain. Wake us up to something that might needs to change. But you also have to work with what you got when you're present. So after this video, turn it off. What's calling your attention?